Yeah, I think we're not only clear on who we are for, but we're clear on who we're not for. And so you have that different ethos of looking at both sides. So we know that you can watch any clips of baseball players and how they react and how they act and see how they are. And you see guys in the dugouts having fun. So we're very clear on our vision on what we're looking for, and we're never going to have the best baseball team in the world. We know that. We're not for baseball traditionalists, but can we be the most entertaining sports team in the world? Put on the greatest show in sports. And so then you look for the guys that have that type of personality. Yes, they have to play.
Yep.
You can't not play. But there's enough out there that think about this. In baseball, for instance, we all started with the goal to play just to have fun. And then it got a little taken out of us as the competition, the scholarships, the dollars, the professional. It got oozed out of us. And if you just go back to that root, and I'm watching Jake Peavy, literally one of the biggest competitors, a Cy Young Award winner, World Series champion, pitch for us with his gold glove on, which I didn't know was the actual glove, and smiling and laughing out there and having fun. Bill Lee, 76 years old, literally going out. He's pitching. He said he's pitching probably 80% of our games this tour. We're going to 33 cities. He's going to be coming everywhere. I mean, that's what this is intended for. And so we're just very clear. We want people that want to have fun. And when you have fun, you actually play better.
This is the Business of Advice podcast, where we help good advisors become great business owners. Okay, everyone, don't let the yellow suit fool you. Today's guest is a serious force to be reckoned with when it comes to innovation, fun, and really delivering the ultimate client experience. Jesse Cole is the owner of the Savannah Bananas, perhaps the most fun and most talked about team in baseball over the past few years. I got a chance to meet him this summer, and I would say you're a modern-day P.T. Barnum is how I would describe it to people that I've talked to you about. So, Jesse, excited to have you on the Business of Advice podcast.
Yeah, fired up to you. Have some fun.
So I'll maybe just share real quick my experience this summer when I got a chance to come visit you all. Don Yeager, a good friend of both of ours, I know he worked with you on your book, invited a group of us to come spend the afternoon with you and witness the bananas in action. And I always say I'm fairly obsessed with the client experience, and you're making me raise the bar there. I was just blown away watching fans line up, an hour and a half before a game, thousands deep, and in the parade of everyone walking in, and just the entire experience. People should go see it. So I know we're going to dive into a bunch of that today, but maybe just first question I'll ask you. Baseball's 150 plus years old. I think when people think about baseball, it's tradition, history. If you played it, there's all these unwritten rules that you have to follow. And you've approached it exactly the opposite. So what was just the origin of your idea behind this? And then what was that first night like when everyone probably is expecting to come out to a baseball game and they see, what is the birth of the Savannah Bananas?
Well, that first night we were wearing green uniforms because we weren't quite ripe. So and we actually made 6 errors and played terrible. But the banana nanas danced, and we had a banana baby that we lifted up, and players delivered roses to little girls. And so eventually they came around. But yeah, the origin is I played baseball my whole life, and so I loved playing the game. But watching the game, even as a player, I was bored. I was like, it's just bored out of my mind. And so I took over a small team in Gastonia, North Carolina, as a GM at 23 years old, and the only way you get that job is it's one of the worst teams in the country. I mean, I took it over because no one really wanted that job. And we were failing. There's no one coming to the ballpark. And I said, we're never going to be the best baseball team. What could we be? And we said, could we make it all about entertainment? And so I said, could we have dancing players? Could we start having grandma beauty pageants? Could I get in the dunk tank every game? And I started reading every book about P.T. Barnum and Walt Disney and just said, hey, let's make it fun. And so that was the origin. And then with Major League Baseball, I just kept seeing the game is getting longer and longer, over 3 hours long. And the average baseball fan over 60 years old, and seeing what was happening, I was like, there's an opportunity to create something that can be more exciting. And so my wife and I ventured to Savannah, proceeded to fail miserably. We came there trying to act like everyone else, sell like everyone else, market like everyone else, promote like everyone else. And we sold 2 tickets in our first 3 months. And by January of 2016, we'd overdrafted our account. We were out of money, and we were sleeping on an airbed with only $30 a week to grocery shop. So that's where we were. And we said, we got to go all in now again on trying to create the greatest show in sports. And that's what we tried to do.
So obviously I got to witness this incredible way that you put fans first. And we were even talking right before we started recording this incredible social media post that you had today while we're recording. But maybe just so to set the context for people, maybe share some of the unique or different things that you all do. We're talking about speeding up the game. The one thing I like is you can't step out of the batter's box in between. You have these guys adjusting their wrist straps and everything for 30 seconds. So the game was fast. I love that.
Yeah.
So maybe just talk about some of the unique things you all have done.
Sure. Well, we learned the first step to creating raving fans is to eliminate friction, to eliminate the friction points, the frustration points. And so we looked at a baseball experience at all the different frustration points. So the first one is like, baseball too long, too slow, too boring. So what is the opposite of that? So yes, we have a pep band at every one of our baseball games. We have a breakdancing coach. We have a twerking umpire. We have a male cheerleading team. We play in stilts. We play in kilts. We have a new game we invented, Banana Ball, where it's a 2-hour time limit and batters can steal first. And there's no bunting. If you bunt, you're thrown out of the game, literally. And if fans catch a foul ball, it's an out. And so we started just looking at all those things that are frustration points, friction points, and doing the exact opposite. And then in Savannah, as you got to witness, no ticket fees, no convenient fees, no parking fees, no service fees. We pay your taxes, and all your burgers, hot dogs, chicken sandwiches, soda, water, popcorn, and everything's included in your ticket.
So I love that. One of the things that you talk about is these 5 E's to creating raving fans, and the eliminate friction is a big one of that. I think that's even the advisors that listen to this show. Kind of what I witnessed or watched there is like, what are the things that you're doing in your business that probably annoy your client base, and how do you make that easier on them? Would you walk through just some of the other ideas you have, kind of those 5 E's to creating raving fans?
Yeah, sure. That was kind of the ethos of the fans first book was like, like I had to look back, like when you start doing stuff, you don't really have like a formula, like, oh, this makes sense, don't do this. This makes sense, don't do this. So looking back, we realized there were 5 E's, and eliminate friction. Number one, entertain always. And that's all right. Financial advisory business. No, we're not in the entertainment business. But the reality is the definition of entertain is to provide enjoyment, to provide amusement. And so we look at what are the stages of the experience. And you mentioned it, the march before coming to the ballpark. So literally we map out the experience coming to the stadium, and then the plaza, the concourse, the grandstand, on the field, the last impression. So what are the stages that you can actually entertain? And not just think of your main stage, as a financial advisor, just, all right, we got the account, we'll do our check-in calls. Like, what are all the different steps, the transitions, the paperwork? How do you make that enjoyable? All of that's part of entertaining always. Then experiment constantly. Jeff Bezos said our success is a direct function of how many experiments we do per year, per month, per week, per day. We do 10 to 15 things every night that we've never done in front of a live crowd. 9 to 12 of them fail pretty miserably. Living Pinata is a really bad promotion. Messy Baby, the Horsehead Race, the first ever halftime show. We've done a lot that haven't worked, but that helps us learn faster. So we have constant idea paloozas and how we can do new things to provide more enjoyment for our fans. Then engage deeply. Do for one what you wish you could do for many, from Andy Stanley. So we are focused on listen carefully, respond creatively, and how we listen to our fans in social media and then actually surprise them during games. Like if we find someone's getting engaged and they don't even tell us, but we see their picture, we'll actually get roses, give it to them during the game, scan the whole stadium to find them, create those moments. And then empower action. My dad when I was a kid, he taught me, he said, Jesse, swing hard in case you hit it when I came up to bat. And so that mindset of empowering you to try things. And so once you can empower your team to look at everything on how to create fans, you start really building this ethos around your system and your company. And it's been really special to watch.
One of the things, even when I was there seeing some of the new things that you had tried, I don't remember specifically, but you said when you met with us, like, here's 2 new things we're doing tonight we've never done before. How did you instill that culture into your team of like, hey, it is okay to fail and try these? I think you hear business owners say it all the time. We want to be innovative, try new things, but then don't like it when people make mistakes. So any advice you'd give people on just how you instill that into your team?
Well, when you talk about a culture, one of the biggest, most important things of culture is how do you amplify what you believe in? So how do you amplify what is your aspiration for your culture? What do you want? And so for amplifying that, the 2 ways that we look at it is storytelling and role modeling. You're talking to a guy in a crazy yellow tuxedo with a top hat. Like, there's no one that goes around wearing this because they're not crazy enough or it doesn't make sense. But what I'm trying to role model is the role of fun and to give ourselves permission to have fun and not take ourselves too seriously. And so when you look at our whole team that's dancing, come up to the plate and coming up with their bats on fire and doing splits and all the things that we do during a game, it's helped that role modeling. And then the storytelling. So that is so key. And everyone talks about storytelling. It's almost cliche now. But I would argue that every company has core beliefs, core values, but you have stories that back those up. So for instance, I always tell stories about our players. We had one guy, and I might have shared it with you when you were there, his first game with us 3 or 4 years ago, and I watched 2 kids come up to him and say, "Can we have your autograph?" And he said no. And I looked at him like, Like, this is fans first. Like, that's what we stand for. And he got down to his knee and said, only if I can have yours first. And he handed the kids his Sharpie, handed them his hat, and they signed his hat. And I started telling that story to our team because I was blown away. Now, all of our guys have signatures on their hats. One guy, Michael Deeb, gets his entire jersey signed every game by kids. So there's the longest line, not to get autographs, but to give autographs to one of our players. So it's that storytelling. So if you want to build that and build a culture of failure and even doing ideas, you got to start talking about what you're trying to create and then practice it. I do 10 ideas every single day. I have an idea book. I write it every day. And then we get together and do idea sessions, and everyone brings their own ideas on new things that we can do to create fans.
It's really cool. Hey, a question I want to ask you, it may be a little different than what you get asked before, but maybe not. You know, when you watch a Bananas game, and even when I was there, Johnny Gomes, former Kansas City Royal, won a World Series with us back in 2015. I think people sometimes think it's more of a show, but you've got great baseball talent too, right? They're really good players. So they're not comedians trying to be baseball players. They're baseball players that are also bought into this vision. But this is maybe the way I wanted to ask this question is you're going out trying to sign and bring players onto your team. How do you evaluate that balance between talent? You know, everyone wants a talented player, but this is so different that you also have to have someone who has a great attitude, who's bought in to what you're trying to do. Is there something you're looking for in those players? Because, you know, there's some baseball players that aren't real friendly and probably wouldn't fit. Is there a way or something that you're looking for that would be applicable as people are trying to hire? You know, attitude's a huge part of what you're looking for.
Yeah, I think you know, we're not only clear on who we are for, but we're clear on who we're not for. And so you have that different ethos of looking at both sides. So, you know, we know that you can watch any clips of baseball players and how they react and how they act and see how they are. And you see guys in the dugouts having fun. So, you know, we're very clear on our vision on what we're looking for. And we're never going to have the best baseball team in the world. We know that. We're not for baseball traditionalists. But can we be the most entertaining sports team in the world, put on the greatest show in sports? And so then you look for the guys that have that type of personality. Yes, they have to play. You know, you can't not play. But there's enough out there that think about this. In baseball, for instance, we all started with the goal to play just to have fun. And then it got a little taken out of us as the competition, the scholarships, the dollars, the professional. It got you know, oozed out of us. And if you just go back to that root, and I'm watching Jake Peavy, literally one of the biggest competitors, a Cy Young Award winner, World Series champion, pitch for us with his gold glove on, which I didn't know he was an actual glove, and smiling and laughing out there and having fun. You know, Bill Lee, 76 years old, you know, literally going out, he's pitching. He said he's pitching probably 80% of our games this tour. We're going to 33 cities. He's going to be coming everywhere. I mean, that's what this is intended for. And so we're just very clear. We want people that want to have fun. And when you have fun, you actually play better. When we were in our regular league, we won 3 championships in the 6 years. And we were still dancing and singing and celebrating and doing all that. They were just having fun. So I think fun is an ingredient that it's so soft these days. Like, oh, have fun. We're going to have fun. Actually, we bear down on it. I think every company, if you have people that are really enjoying themselves, they will perform better.
It's one of the things I always say here. If people enjoy coming to work, I think they're going to do a better job providing a great experience. I don't know why you wouldn't want to create an environment where they enjoy coming to work. So seems to make sense. When you, one of the other things that I took away from our time when we were with you is that every employee, every player that you bring onto the staff or to the team, you make them go through this Fans First University. Yeah. We just walk through, I mean, how you onboard your team's a huge part of that, but maybe walk through what Fans First University is and kind of how you came up with that idea and how it helps you just get everyone on the same page as they join.
So many great ideas come from other people. So it's not like I was like, oh, you guys are so original. It's like, well, no, you know, I mean, Disney started this many years ago and teaching traditions and going through it. And, you know, you're trying to build the culture. I'm not focused on the next quarter. I'm focused on the next quarter century. And so there's a lot of legacy, storytelling, traditions that needs to happen. So yeah, before any guy gets a jersey, literally we'll do a whole day of this Fans First U and orientation. And we have videos that we share. I start with the vision, you know, where we started. I lay out the fact that, hey, the Savannah Band shouldn't even exist right now. Like literally, this is where we were, and go through that to understand the roots of this company and what it started, and you know how we were scrappy and trying to find a way to make this. They've always been the underdog, and then we go through, you know, what Fans First means. and we go through the stories like the one I just shared of Brian Encarnacion and the autographs and Michael Deeb. And we talk about all these moments so they know what examples are. And then we have players talk about their first impressions and moments that stood out for them. So everyone is hearing it and understanding. And at that point, at the end of the day, you're in. And it's not just like, these are our core values, this is our beliefs. It's literally you are immersed in what Fans First is all about. And then very soon after, we're getting you in front of fans because we will watch. During our tryout this past year, we literally had them work a camp. So this is really interesting. So we brought in 100, we have our camps, our youth camps, kids coming from all over the country, 100 kids, they fly in, which is silly to me for kids to fly in for a 2-day camp. That's a whole other thing. So they fly in for the camp. And so we had our tryout that morning before it started. And then there was 4 hours of camp during the middle of the day. We had all of our tryout kids, our tryout players work the camp. And we watched, how do they interact with kids? Did they play catch? Did they spend more time? Were they sitting on the sidelines? Were they on their phone? We made more decisions watching that camp than necessarily them pitching in the game, because that's who they're going to make the biggest impression on. So, you got to put them in an opportunity very quickly to see how they respond. And that's how we do it. What's
your favorite Fan First moment? Do you have one that really sticks out to you?
Oh, geez. Yeah, I mean, there's the very emotional ones, but I don't want to get you or your audience crying. I mean, there's ones.
I cry all the time anymore. It's
yeah, and there's many of those, but yeah, I mean, the one that I see every day that stands in front of me is Reginald. Reggie is now our coach, but Reginald started calling us our first year trying to get a job, and he called us every single day trying to get a job. He's 40 years old, and he just wanted a job with us, and mental disability, but just really wanted to work with us, called us all the time. He said, Reggie, the job fair is in April. He goes, okay. So he showed up. It was amazing. Big smile, did everything, literally at the ballpark, like more noticeable than me. Everyone loved him. And even if it was raining, he'd go around, Jesse, it's a great day for a ball game. I go, Reggie, it's raining. He goes, it's going to be a great day. Just a good person. And so his birthday came about, and he said it was his 3rd year working with us. He goes, Jesse, for the first time ever, my birthday's on a game day. I go, that's great, Reggie, that's great. He goes, just want to let you know. And then he proceeded to tell everyone on the staff that his birthday was on a game day. So finally his birthday came, and we were having our pep rally before the game, before the gates open, and we brought him over and started singing happy birthday. And he goes, for me? Of course, Reggie, it's for you. You told everyone about it. And I said, hey, Reggie, we gave him some a cake and balloons and stuff, and just sang to him. And I said, Reggie, one more thing. And I learned this from Steve Jobs, always have one more thing. And I go, Reggie, come down to the dugout right before the game. He goes, okay, you need something done? I go, yep, definitely need something done. He goes, okay. And so we're doing the starting lineups. Stadium sold out, standing, band on the dugout, players lined up, batting first, batting second. We go through the lineup. And then we said, last but not least, you know him, you love him. Let's hear it for Reggie. He throws his arms up like this, runs down, high-fiving the players, gets to the end of the line, and our coach is there waiting for him with a jersey with his name on it.
Oh, wow.
So hands him the jersey with his name, and he puts it on. I watch him during the national anthem, and there's a tear coming down his face. At the end of the night, he said it was one of the best days of his life. Shortly after that, the players said, we'd like Reggie to be our coach. I go, coach? And they go, we just want him in the dugout. We love Reggie. We want him. I go, okay, let's see. So he came in, started becoming the coach, started making the famous Reginade, which is just Gatorade, ice, and water, but it's the famous Reginade. And literally started giving pep talks to the players and leading the guys. And he traveled on the road and inspired them. And he would give a pep talk every night to the guys. And that's a whole nother story, hilarious pep talks. The guys would cheer. They wanted to win for Reggie. And so his 2 years as coach, 21 and 22, when we were in our league, we won the championship. And the first year we won the championship, sold out crowd, everyone, the whole stadium, the players gave him the trophy, and the whole stadium started chanting Reggie.
That's awesome.
So a moment, I know it's a longer story, but that's a moment because now Reggie's empowered us, we empowered him, and it's just one moment trying to take care of someone, make them feel special.
That's really cool. I've witnessed a lot of that. So another question I want to ask you, you do something unique in your hiring process, a little unconventional, but the last request on the application is they have to record a 2-minute video and they answer, I think I got these questions right, but who do you look up to most and why? What does your typical day off look like? And if you were a color, what color would you be and why? What are you looking for in those answers? Maybe not as specific as why you're asking those questions, but what are you trying to pull out of someone with those questions?
That's good. That's new to me. So that's talking about empowering. So our Fans First director, Marie, has set up that part of the process. We also ask for a future resume because we're not really interested in what you've done in the past. We want to know what you want to do.
Where you're going.
Where you're going, how you fit the vision, what's your goals. If you want to do something bigger than us, great. We want to help you. We don't want you to have the same position for the next 5 years. But in regards to those, I mean, I think Marie's obsessed with understanding people's personality and culture and trying to see how they think. Do they think differently? Are they unconventional? Are they fun? If you answer that very kind of analytical, that might not be the best position for us. Yeah. So I mean, there's reasons why she looks at everything. We've probably seen all of that, but yeah, it's a thorough process that we go through our people. And I was told we have almost 3,000 people on a wait list now to work with us, which is really exciting as well.
One thing I want to ask you about, because like I mentioned a few minutes ago, you posted something on social media today, and I congratulated you on it before we started recording. Just to me, it speaks to this ethos of putting the fans first always. And a lot of people say that, but we see lots of, I don't know if I should mention Southwest, but at one point Southwest was great, and then we've seen over the holidays they just kind of fell apart. But you made a post about the fact that someone called trying to buy tickets. You guys are going on this worldwide tour. Would you just share kind of the ethos of why that was so important for you to call out? And I think one of the things you shared is like there's also this perception that you all are the ones that are charging all this money for tickets, but that's never been the case. So one, it'd be a good platform for us to elevate that message, but also I thought it just spoke to being true to what you're trying to build.
Yeah, decisions are very easy when you know who you are and what you stand for. They become very easy. And for most people, that decision to turn down $1 million ticket offer from a ticket reselling company with $500,000 in additional profit because they were going to pay twice the amount of our regular double would seem like that's a very hard decision. It was one of the easiest decisions I've ever made with our company. And because it's very clear, if we wanted to make more money, we could do it very easily. We have no sponsors at our stadium. We eliminated all the sponsorship because we don't believe people come to a ballpark to be sold to, marketed to, or advertised to. We have no ticket fees, no convenient fees, no service fees, and we pay everyone's taxes at our stadium. That makes no sense. There's no one in the country that does that. And we're paying millions of dollars in taxes. So every decision we make is at fans first. We think a $25 ticket should be $25. It shouldn't be $36.50 or $36.85 or $42.25. So that's very clear for us. And right now with our wait list over 500,000, the actual people on a wait list to get tickets with us, we want to get as many of those people to get tickets as possible at the price that we put, not the price that is what the secondary market is putting out. So yeah, we don't make any decisions for profit. So I want to share that because we have so many people that think we are selling tickets at $300, $400, $500, $600. Every ticket's now listed 10, 20 times face value. We're sale tickets at 25 and $30. Like that's what our ticket price is. Yeah. With no extra fees. It's real. So I got this big company reached out and they wanted to buy a huge group order for every single game at a premium double price. And we've heard from lots of them, but this was the biggest one we've been offered and not interested.
Yeah, you definitely, I was watching and I'm like, man, you do make some bad financial decisions, but it goes back to that true. I was sitting there, I'm like, I don't know if I would notice if there were some billboards out on the, outfield wall, but it was cool to see. And that's just why I thought that post was so true to what you're trying to build, right? That it's all about the fan experience. We're not going to sacrifice that in any way, shape, or form.
When you die, when all's said and done, it's not going to be how much money you have in a bank account. It's how many people were you able to impact. And me and Emily are obsessed with that. We are obsessed with that. So for us, having a few extra dollars doesn't make that much of an impact. And now with the amount of fans that we have, I'd rather be a billion fan team than have $1 billion, or be $1 billion company. That has no interest to me. So that's what, if we can create 1 billion fans, we're going to do everything right, or try, which we make lots of mistakes, so lots of errors. We're going to try everything we can to do what we would think would be a great fan experience.
One other quick question I'll ask, and then just want to ask a couple quick lightning round questions because I know you've got something you got to get off to. You all have embraced social media in a massive way. In fact, I don't remember the exact number, but I think maybe you have a bigger following than any Major League Baseball team. But would you just talk about kind of your strategy behind that and the results, I think, speak for themselves?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for me. I mean, we have 3 million more followers than any Major League Baseball team on TikTok. So we're approaching 4 million followers, and it's wild. I think for us, it's very simple. We don't do anything to try to sell. We do things, we post to share what's happening. So we just share the experience, share the entertainment. And so we try to create things that are very fun for our live audience and also our digital audience, because our goal is to bring more joy and more fun to more people. So when it's very simple, it's like, okay, Yeah, a guy's coming up bat with his bat on fire. Yes, a guy's going to do a split in the batter's box. Yes, we're going to have a boa constrictor around. Like we haven't done that one yet, but yes, we're going to put a mechanical bull in the bullpen, and pitcher's going to ride that and then come onto the mound. Yes, we're going to have a pitcher skydive to his position. Like all these ideas we talk about because hey, could that be fun for the game, for the live audience, and also for the digital audience? And often the live audience is like, I was there when they did that, and when you see it go out there, so we're very clear. We have a goal of 20 to 30 unique things filmed every night that hasn't happened that we can then share, and it makes it easy. We play our game, we do our things, we film, we put it out, and then it just keeps growing, and it's based on it. It's a big part of our flywheel.
Yeah, well, people should go follow you if they're not. So, okay, final question, then a couple quick lightning round questions. I truly believe leading by examples is one of the most important things that you can do. And what I witnessed, I didn't say this to you there, but I witnessed you and Emily leading by example. Like she's out there helping getting concessions set up. You're a madman on game day, right? I mean, you're going everywhere, doing everything. Like how important is that? And I know it's important, but maybe just speak to why you're there early, leaving late. You're after the game, all the players come, all the fans come, you're singing, you're right there in the middle of it. Just why is that so important to you?
Well, I think it's a good question. I think it's understanding first the root. I am obsessed with following what gives me energy. And so I have an energy list, and I know the things that give me energy. And you probably saw me, and people like, I don't know how you do it, how you have so much energy. I'm like, no, actually, that gives me more energy. 10 o'clock at night, and I've been there all morning because the idea for me being in front of people, putting on a show, having fun, I'm not an introvert, obviously, but that fires me up. It gives me energy. For Emily, she loves making sure our people are taken care of and caring for them. She was the older sister of 3 brothers, so helping people, caring for people. So that gives her energy. So for us, I think, again, you follow what gives you energy. And sometimes if you're a leader or an owner and things that really, you can't fake it. I mean, I hope that you felt that it was genuine for me and Emily. Like it was authentic. And so find what that is that gives you energy and hire those other things that give you energy. So the whole organization, what they're doing, they can role model to everyone else because they're doing it at the right example. So I think that's really important. And, if you saw me in doing financials or doing operations or what Emily does, you would see a whole different picture and you would not see a good role model. So I've been really very particular in trying to follow those things that do give me energy.
Yeah, it was just fun watching as you guys have had more and more success just to see you in the middle of all of it and out there leading all of it. So, okay, let me ask you some quick lightning round questions. I ask them at the end of all this. They can be short, quick answers. But I'll just say since COVID, right, it disrupted a lot of things, obviously disrupted a lot of things for you all. But as you look back over the past few years, is there one maybe new lesson that you learned that you're going to carry forward for the rest of your career or life?
Ooh, through COVID. That's interesting. That was a being in the live entertainment business. That was a phase I try to. I don't think about that much. I try to move past that. Even though our accountant said you may have been the only sports team in the country that was profitable during COVID, but it was only $13,000. I go, hey, we'll take it.
Yeah,
we found a way. But no, I think it's very clear to find really what brings you joy. I think often we get into the rat race of just going. And people always say this with COVID, but it's human connection. And then some people just go back to what they do. So, for me, again, following what gives me energy, following what gives us joy, and then understanding that, hey, we have to create things that we can do what we love at all times, even in the midst of pandemic. And so that made it very eye-opening for us and said, could we be playing year-round from our business? Could we be doing things all over the country? Do we have to be stuck at one place? Can we build a brand that we can do this anywhere, both online, digital? And so we've really spread our vision now to being a year-round entity that's not just a baseball team playing in a season, as evidenced by going to 33 cities and now playing year-round.
That's cool.
That helped a bit. Yeah.
Yep. What is the one thing that you did that graduated you from being a good leader to a great leader?
Reading, 1,000%. I'm looking right ahead at a giant bookshelf. So I was reading 100 books a year. Now I'm down to 50 because business and having 3 kids, and it's a little crazier. But reading 100%. So every single morning, I write 10 ideas in my idea book. I write in my journal. I go for a run, listen to a business podcast, and read at least 1 to 2 chapters. It starts at 4:30. I'm done by about 7. It's a 2.5 hour every single morning commitment. but the reading and learning from the greats. If you want to be great, you need to learn from the greats. And I've been trying to learn from everyone who's done it better and better than me, and that's done it so well. That is a great lesson every day.
Testament. I was checking out your library wall, just seeing, any books
Oh,
that I need
yeah,
to pick
yeah,
up
yeah.
off of that. So, yeah. That's my next question of what can't be one of your books. You've got a couple great books out. What is the one book that you've recommended most to other entrepreneurs, business leaders?
Ooh, good question. How to Be Like Walt from Pat Williams was one that's really inspired me from a Walt Disney. I constantly come back. It's right in front of me right now. Invent and Wander, which is the Jeff Bezos shareholder letters. And just seeing the way he thought about the business is really, really smart. So I go deep on everything in business. I learned from the Grateful Dead is another one, which is really interesting too. So I go deep in subjects, and like I will always come back to Disney, Amazon, Apple, Grateful Dead, as crazy as that is, and I learned from them this more than anybody.
And it was neat watching. We had Pat Williams in that group with us, so seeing you two interact was a lot of fun. Okay, final question. Best piece of advice you've ever received?
Yeah, it's my dad. The first time I came up for a T-ball, dragging the bat, nervous, scared out of my mind, and my dad yelled, "Jess, swing hard, in case you hit it."
I love it.
That stayed with me.
Jesse, it's been great to have you on the podcast and reconnect. How can people follow along? Obviously, you're on social media, but just maybe share with them all the ways that they can follow you. And the bananas.
If you search Yellow Tux, you'll find me. You search the Savannah Bananas, you'll find me. I share most of my things on LinkedIn on a regular basis. The bananas are easy to find. We have probably the most fun on TikTok and Instagram, but I'm trying to be very open and accessible. From the first time that I reached out to Mark Cuban after reading his book, and he responded to an email with just in a couple hours. I was like, okay, I want to try to live like that, and so I try to be as accessible as possible.
That's cool. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Everyone who listens to this, go share this and figure out a way to get down to Savannah and check out what they're doing. It will blow your mind, especially if you are focused on a great client experience. You're going to love it there. So, Jesse, again, I appreciate the time.
All right, thanks so much, buddy. Enjoyed it.